Stop letting toxic office dynamics drain your energy and stall your career progress. We are replacing defensive reactions with neutral, outcome oriented English phrases designed to de escalate tension on the spot. Learn how to deploy specific professional pivots that shut down aggression and redirect the conversation toward a productive resolution. Hey everyone, welcome back. Yeah, today feels different. It does, because today we're not just talking about English.
We're talking about survival.
Workplace survival.
And not the easy version, the real version, the uncomfortable version.
The version where your coworker smiles at you in meetings and then destroys you in emails.
Oh yeah, that kind of person.
Or the one who ignores your messages for 3 days but suddenly tags you in a group chat asking why something isn't done.
That one hurts.
So today, we're going deep. Real situations, real emotions, real English. Let me tell you a story.
Okay, I'm listening.
A few years back, I had a coworker. Let's call her Lisa.
Lisa already sounds dangerous.
She was very professional on the outside, meaning perfect emails, polite tone, always smiling.
That sounds good.
Until you worked with her.
Here we go.
In meetings, she would interrupt me. Not aggressively, not obviously.
So, subtly?
Exactly. I'd start speaking and she'd jump in like, "Sorry, Katie, just to add something quickly."
And then never give the turn back?
Never.
Classic.
At first, I stayed quiet. Of course, most people do. I told myself, it's okay, stay polite. But inside, I was frustrated, angry, invisible.
That's the worst feeling.
One day, it happened again.
Same meeting?
Same room, same pattern. What did you do? This time, I didn't stay quiet.
Oh, this is the moment.
She interrupted me again.
And?
I smiled and said, "Sorry, Lisa, I'd like to finish my point first."
Whoa, that's simple but powerful.
The room went quiet.
I can imagine.
Because I didn't attack her, but I also didn't give up my space. That's control. She paused, then said, "Oh, sure."
Did she interrupt again?
Less.
So it worked.
Yes, because I changed something.
Not her behavior, but your response.
Exactly. That's a powerful lesson. Yeah, difficult coworkers don't always change, but your language changes the dynamic. Now, let me tell you another story.
I'm ready.
This time, different type of coworker. Let me guess. Lazy? Very. We had a project deadline.
Important one?
Very important. Client-facing. Pressure. My teammate, let's call him Tom, was responsible for one key part. Let me guess. He didn't do it. 3 days before the deadline, nothing. No update? Nothing. So what did you do? Old me would say, "Tom, why are you so late?" Yeah, emotional reaction. But I didn't. I messaged him, "Hey Tom, just checking in. When can we expect an update?"
That sounds calm, but also serious.
Exactly.
What did he say?
Soon.
Of course.
So I followed up. We're on a tight timeline, so it's important we stay on track.
Now that's pressure.
Professional pressure.
Did he respond?
Yes, suddenly he started working.
Funny how that works.
Here's the thing.
Tell me.
If you attack people, they defend. If you guide the situation, they respond.
That's a mindset shift.
Exactly. Okay, let's go darker.
Darker.
Passive-aggressive coworkers.
Oh, the dangerous ones.
The ones who say things like, "Interesting choice," or "Wow, that's bold," with a smile. Always with a smile. I had one like that too. Of course you did. In a meeting, I presented an idea.
And?
She said, "I'm not sure that will work, but we can try."
That sounds harmless, but it's not.
Exactly. It creates doubt.
So what did you say?
I didn't defend emotionally.
Good.
I asked, "What concerns do you have specifically?"
Oh, that's sharp.
Now she had to explain. No more hiding behind vague comments. She couldn't give a clear answer because she didn't have one. That's the power of clarity. You expose the real issue. Another phrase I love, could you clarify what you mean? Simple but deadly. Because vague negativity disappears when you ask for clarity.
That's true.
Now let's talk about emotional control.
The hardest part.
There was a moment I almost lost it. Tell me. A coworker blamed me in front of the team. Publicly. Yes. That's intense. My heart was racing.
Of course.
I wanted to say, that's not true. You're the problem.
Yeah, that's the natural reaction.
But I didn't.
What did you say?
I slowly said, let's take a step back and look at the timeline.
Wow.
Then I explained the facts. No emotion, just facts.
What happened?
The room shifted.
Because facts win.
Exactly. So the real skill is not English. It's emotional intelligence expressed in English. That's powerful. Let's do a full dramatic role play.
Okay, I'll go full toxic.
Let's go. Aggressive. Why is this not done? You're slowing everyone down. Calm. I understand your concern. I'm currently finalizing the details. That's not good enough. We're working on a tight timeline, and I want to ensure the quality is right. You always say that. Let's focus on what needs to be completed today. So you admit it's late? Let's review the timeline together to make sure we're aligned. Normal voice. That's impressive. It's not about winning. It's about staying in control. Exactly. So what's the final lesson? Difficult coworkers are everywhere. You can't avoid them, but you can control your tone, your words, your reaction. And that changes everything. When you speak calmly, you gain power. When you stay clear, you gain respect. When you focus on solutions, you lead, even without a manager title. Exactly. This episode felt different. Yeah, deeper, more real, because this is real life. All right, if you're listening right now, tomorrow at work, try just one phrase. Just one. And watch what happens. See you next time. Bye, everyone. Hey, everyone. Welcome back.
If you thought the last episode was intense,
This one is darker.
much darker.
Today we're talking about something people don't say out loud.
But everyone feels.
Office politics.
The silent game.
Where people don't fight directly.
But still try to win.
Let me tell you a story.
This sounds dangerous already.
It is. A few years ago, I was up for a promotion.
Big one.
Senior position, more responsibility, more money.
And more pressure.
Exactly.
Who were you competing with?
Someone I trusted.
Oh no.
Let's call her Anna.
Friend or just coworker?
At that time, I thought she was a friend.
That's where it hurts the most.
We worked together on a major project.
Teamwork?
Yes, or at least I thought it was. We had deadlines, late nights, stress.
Classic setup.
I handled most of the client communication.
Important role.
She worked on internal coordination.
So far, normal.
Then something changed.
What?
In meetings, she started speaking more.
That's not bad.
No, but listen carefully. She would say things like, I think we should improve how we communicate with the client.
Wait, that's your area.
Exactly.
That's subtle.
Then she added, sometimes the message isn't very clear.
Oh, that's not feedback. That's positioning.
Yes, she's planting doubt. And the worst part?
What? She never mentioned my name.
So no direct attack, but everyone knew. That's high-level office politics. At first, I ignored it.
Why?
I didn't want conflict.
But ignoring doesn't stop the game.
Exactly.
So what happened next?
One day, my manager asked me a question.
Uh-oh.
He said, do you think communication with a client has been effective?
That's her influence.
Yes.
What did you say?
I believe communication has been clear, but I'm open to feedback. Could you share specific concerns?
That's strong.
I didn't defend blindly.
You asked for clarity.
Exactly.
Did he have examples?
No.
So the doubt had no evidence.
Yes. And that's important.
Because in office politics, perception is everything.
Exactly.
So how did things escalate?
The betrayal came later.
I knew it.
We had to submit a project summary to leadership.
Joint report?
Yes, we worked on it together.
Let me guess.
She sent the final version without you, without telling me.
That's bad.
And in that report, no, she highlighted her contributions
Of course.
and minimized mine.
That's betrayal.
Yes. What did you feel? Anger? Shock? Disappointment? Did you confront her? Not immediately. Why? Because reacting emotionally would cost me.
So what did you do?
I documented everything.
Smart.
Emails, messages, meeting notes.
Evidence.
Then I scheduled a meeting with my manager, and I said, I'd like to clarify my contributions to the project to ensure alignment.
That's professional.
I didn't accuse her. You focused on facts. Exactly. What happened next? I showed the timeline.
Clear?
Very clear.
And your manager?
He started asking questions.
To her?
Yes,
Pressure shifted.
exactly.
So, plot twist?
There's more.
Oh, wow.
The final decision meeting.
Promotion decision.
Yes.
Who got it?
Not me.
What?
She did.
After all that?
Yes, that's brutal. But wait, there's another twist? 3 months later,
Okay.
she was removed from the role.
What happened?
She couldn't handle it because she knew how to play politics.
But not how to lead.
Exactly. And you? I was promoted later. That's the real ending. Because in the long run, skill beats strategy, and integrity lasts longer than manipulation. Wow, that felt like a movie. Because it is. Office life is a movie with silent battles, hidden intentions, and unexpected endings. So, what's the lesson? 3 things. Let's hear it. 1. Don't be naive. Trust, but observe. 2. Communicate clearly and professionally. Always. 3. Document your work. Protect yourself, because not everyone plays fair, but you can still win without becoming toxic. That's the real power. All right, if you're listening right now, look around your workplace. Who's playing the game? And more importantly, how are you playing it? We'll see you in the next episode. Stay sharp. Bye, everyone.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. If episode 2 felt intense, this one is personal. Because today, we're not talking about coworkers. We're talking about your boss. Not just any boss, a toxic one. The kind that doesn't shout, but controls everything. The kind that smiles and still makes you doubt yourself. Let me tell you a story. I have a bad feeling already. After I got promoted, I started reporting to a new manager. Supportive? At first, yes. That's how it always starts. Let's call him Daniel. Daniel sounds dangerous. He was smart, very articulate, very calm. Charismatic? Extremely. Those are the hardest ones. In our first meeting, he said, "I'm here to support you. I trust your decisions." That sounds perfect. Yes, but it wasn't real. When did you realize? A few weeks later. What happened? I made a decision on a project. Based on your role? Yes, it was my responsibility. And in a team meeting, he said, "I'm not sure that was the best approach." In front of everyone? Yes. Did he talk to you before? No. That's a red flag. I felt confused. Of course. Because privately he said he trusted me, but publicly he questioned you. Exactly. That's manipulation. Yes. What did you say? At that moment, I stayed calm. Good. I said, "Could you share what you would have done differently?" Nice. He paused, because he didn't expect that. Exactly. Did he answer? Not clearly. Classic. That was the first sign. What came next? The mind games got deeper. How? He started giving unclear instructions. Like, he would say, "Just use your judgment." Sounds empowering. But later he would say, "That's not what I expected. So you can never win." Exactly. That's psychological pressure. It made me question myself. That's the goal. One day I stayed late finishing a report, dedicated. Next morning he said, "I didn't ask you to do that." Wait, what? Then he added, "You need to manage your time better. That's unfair." Yes, but subtle. So others don't see it. Exactly. How did it affect you? I started doubting everything. Your decisions? My confidence. That's dangerous. Very. So what changed? One moment. Tell me. In a meeting, he criticized my report again. In front of everyone? Yes. What did he say? This lacks clarity. That's vague. Exactly. So what did you do? This time, I didn't stay passive. Okay, I said. Could you specify which part needs more clarity? Direct. He hesitated, because now he has to be specific. Yes. And he gave a weak answer. So the criticism had no depth. Exactly. That's how you break the pattern. Yes. By asking for specifics and staying calm. Always calm. Then I changed my strategy. What did you do? I documented everything. Again. Every instruction, every change. Smart. And I started confirming things in writing. Like, after meetings, I'd send, "Just to confirm, I'll proceed with option A as discussed." That's powerful. Because now there's a record. No more mind games. Exactly. Did he notice? Yes. And his behavior changed. Less manipulation? More careful. Because you became harder to control. Exactly. So what's the biggest lesson? Toxic bosses don't always shout. They confuse. They create doubt. They shift expectations and make you question yourself. So how do you survive? 3 things. Let's hear it. 1. Ask for clarity. Always. 2. Confirm in writing. Protect yourself. 3. Don't take it personally. That's the hardest. Yes, but the most important, because it's not about you. It's about control. And once you see the pattern, you stop playing their game and start controlling your own. Exactly. That was intense. Yeah. If you're listening right now and something feels off with your boss, trust that feeling, but respond with strategy, not emotion. We'll see you in the next episode. Stay aware. Bye, everyone.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's episode is not easy
Yeah, this one hits differently.
because today we're talking about something many people hide, but almost everyone feels at some point: burnout. Not just being tired. No, not just I need a break. It's deeper. It's when you wake up and feel nothing, or worse, dread. Dread going to work. Dread opening your laptop. Dread checking your messages. Let me tell you something I've never shared before.
Okay.
There was a time I almost quit everything.
That's serious?
Yes. What happened? It started slowly.
Like most things.
After dealing with that toxic boss,
Daniel,
yeah, I thought I was strong.
you handled it well.
On the outside, yes.
But inside?
I was exhausted. Emotionally, mentally, physically, everything.
What were the signs?
At first, small things, like I couldn't focus.
That happens.
Then I started making mistakes.
That's worse.
Then I stopped caring.
That's the breaking point.
Yeah. One morning, I opened my laptop.
Normal day?
No. I just stared at the screen.
For how long?
I don't know.
What were you thinking?
Nothing.
That's scary.
It was like my brain shut down.
Did anyone notice?
No, of course. Because burnout doesn't look dramatic.
It looks normal.
You still show up. You still reply. You still attend meetings. But inside, you're gone.
Yeah.
Then came the moment.
The breaking point?
Yes, I was in a meeting.
With Daniel?
Yes,
He criticized my work again. Same pattern.
same tone.
What did he say?
This doesn't meet expectations.
In front of everyone?
Yes,
What did you do?
nothing.
Nothing?
I just sat there
Why?
because I had no energy left.
That's heavy.
After the meeting, I closed my laptop.
And?
I cried. Yeah, not loudly.
Just quiet?
Yeah, that kind of cry where you don't even know why.
Because it's everything.
Exactly. Did you think about quitting? Yes. Seriously. That night, I opened my laptop again.
To work?
No, to write a resignation email. Wow. I typed, "I would like to resign."
Did you send it?
No. Why? Because something stopped me.
What?
A question.
Which one?
Is it really the job, or is it the situation?
That's deep.
Because quitting the job?
Doesn't fix the pattern.
Exactly.
So what did you do?
I didn't quit. So you stayed? Yes, but differently.
Explain.
I stopped trying to be perfect.
That's hard.
I stopped overworking.
Even harder.
And I started protecting my energy.
How?
Simple things. Like, when something wasn't clear, I asked, could you clarify the expectations?
Back to control.
Yes. When work piled up, I said, I'm currently at capacity. Which task should I prioritize? That's powerful because now I wasn't carrying everything. You shared responsibility. Exactly. And the biggest change? What? I stopped taking things personally. That's the hardest part. Yes, but it saved me. How long did it take? Weeks. Not instant. No. There were days I still felt tired. Of course, but slowly. You came back? Yes. Stronger. Smarter. That's better. I understood something. What? Burnout is not just about too much work. It's about too much emotional pressure without control. That's powerful. Once I took back control, the pressure changed. So what's the lesson? If you feel burnout, don't ignore it. Don't just push harder. That makes it worse. Pause. Reflect and ask yourself, what needs to change? Not everything, just one thing, one boundary, one conversation, one decision. That's how comeback starts. Not big, but real. If you're listening right now and you feel tired, not just physically, but emotionally, you're not alone. And you're not stuck. You just need to take one step back to move forward. We'll see you in the next episode. Stay strong. Bye, everyone.
Hey, everyone. You sound different today. I feel different. Yeah, I can hear it. Because today, we're not talking about surviving anymore. We're talking about power. Not the title, not the promotion. Real power. The kind people feel when you speak. The kind that doesn't need permission. So this is the comeback. Yeah. After burnout, after doubt, after toxic people, you either break or you rebuild. I chose to rebuild. So what changed? Everything. Start from the beginning. Okay. After that burnout phase, yeah, I stopped trying to prove myself. That's a big shift. Before, I wanted approval. From your boss, from everyone. And now? Now I focus on clarity. Explain that. Instead of asking, do they like me? You ask, is my message clear? That's powerful. Because respect doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being clear. Exactly. So what did that look like in real life? Meetings. Always meetings. Before, I would wait. For the right moment? Yes. And sometimes that moment never comes. Exactly. Now I speak early. Even if you're not 100% ready? Yes. What do you say? Let me share a quick thought. That's confident and neutral. People listen? More than before. Because you sound certain. Exactly. What about when people disagree? I don't defend emotionally. So what do you do? That's a fair point. Here's how I see it. Smooth. No tension, just perspective. That's leadership language. Without the title. That's the key. Let me tell you something interesting. Go ahead. At that time, I still didn't have a higher position, so no official power. None. But something changed. People started coming to me. For what? Advice. That's influence. Yes. Not assigned. Earned. So what made them trust you? Consistency. Explain. I said what I would do and did it every time. That's rare. And I didn't overpromise. Also rare. When I couldn't deliver something, I said, I won't be able to deliver that by today, but I can have it ready tomorrow. Clear, honest. That builds trust. More than trying to impress. Exactly. What about your toxic boss? Daniel? Yeah, he changed too. Really? Not completely, of course. But he treated me differently. Why? Because I stopped reacting. No more emotional responses. Exactly. So he lost control. Yes. What did you do when he tried to criticize you? Could you be more specific? Still works. Always. And when he gave unclear instructions? Just to make sure we're aligned. No more confusion. Exactly. So you created structure. Yes. Even without authority. That's the secret. Structure equals power.
Clarity equals respect. Consistency equals influence. Exactly. Was there a moment when you realized you changed? Yes. Tell me. In a meeting. Of course. There was a conflict. Between who? Two senior team members. High tension? Very. What were they arguing about? Direction of a project. Classic. They were going in circles. No solution? None. So what did you do? I spoke. Even though they were senior? Yes. What did you say? Can we take a step back and align on the goal first? That's strong. The room went quiet. Again. Then I continued, once we agree on the goal, the direction becomes clearer. That's leadership. No title, but full presence. Exactly. What happened next? They stopped arguing. Just like that? Yes. Because you reframed the situation. Exactly. And in that moment, I realized something. What? Power is not given. It's created through how you think, through how you speak, and how you show up. That's the transformation. From reacting to leading, from proving to influencing, from surviving to controlling the game. Exactly. So what's the final message? If you feel small at work, if you feel invisible, if you feel like you have no power, you're wrong. You just haven't used it yet. Start with your words. Start with your tone. Start with clarity. And everything changes. That's the comeback. Not loud, but undeniable. We'll see you in the final episode, the last chapter, where everything comes together. Stay sharp. Bye, everyone. Hey, everyone. This is it, the final episode. Feels strange saying that. Yeah, after everything. We started with difficult coworkers, then office politics, toxic bosses, burnout, and your comeback. And now, this is the final stage. Not surviving, not just handling situations, leading. Do you feel like a different person now? Completely. What's the biggest change? I don't react anymore. At all? Not emotionally. So what do you do instead? I choose my response. That sounds simple, but it changes everything. Take me back for a second. Okay. Old Katie, in a stressful meeting, I would stay quiet. Or feel pressure? Both. And now? Now I observe first. Observe what? People. Their words, their tone, their intention. So you read the room. Exactly. That's leadership skill. Yes. And it starts before you speak. So when do you speak? When it matters. Not all the time. No. So silence is also power? Very much. Give me an example. There was a meeting recently. Go on. The team was confused. About what? Priorities. That's common. Everyone was talking. No direction? None. So what did you do? I waited. You didn't jump in. No. Why? Because timing matters. Then, when the room got quiet, you spoke. Yes. I said, can we align on the top priority for today? That's simple, but powerful. What happened? Everyone focused. Just like that. Yes. So leadership is not complicated language. No. It's clarity. Exactly. What about difficult people now? They still exist, of course, but they don't affect me the same way. Why? Because I don't take things personally. That's again, always. If someone challenges you now, I stay calm and say, let's look at the facts. Facts over emotion, every time. What about pressure from above? I manage it differently. How? I don't absorb it. Explain. Before, I carried everything. Now, I distribute it. With your team? Yes. I say, here's the situation. Here's what we need to solve. You share ownership. Exactly. That's leadership, not control, but direction. Yes. Do people respond differently to you now? Very differently. How? They listen. That's huge. They trust me. Even without authority? Especially without it. Why especially without it? Because it's real, not forced. Exactly. Was there a moment when you realized you became a leader? Yes. Tell me. A new team member joined. Okay. A new team member joined. Okay. She came to me and said, I feel overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. That sounds familiar. Very. What did you do? I didn't give her everything. So? I said, let's break it down. What's the first step? You guided her. Yes. Not solving for her, helping her think. That's real leadership. In that moment, I saw myself from before. And now you're on the other side. Exactly. That's a full transformation. Yeah. From overwhelmed to grounded. From reactive to intentional. From silent to impactful. So what's the final message of this entire series? Finally, you don't become a leader when you get a title. You become a leader when you take responsibility for your response. That's deep. Everything starts there. Not the company, not your boss, not your coworkers. You, your mindset, your words, your actions. If you change those, everything around you changes. Maybe not immediately, but eventually. And when it does, you're not just surviving anymore. You're leading, even if no one gives you the title, because you don't need it. That's real power. All right. If you've been with us from episode 1, thank you. This journey, it's not just English. It's growth, real growth. And if you take one thing from this series, let it be this. You're not stuck. You're just at a stage. And you can move forward, step by step, conversation by conversation, choice by choice. We'll see you, maybe, in the next season. Maybe. Until then, stay clear, stay calm, stay powerful. Bye, everyone.